Okay, I think we're ready to begin here. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Thanks again for joining us for this webinar. My name is Matthew Saxman. I'm a solutions consultant with Computers Made Effective. Before we get started, I would like to give you a brief history of Computers Made Effective. I know your time is valuable, so I will make this quick and continue on to today's main subject. Computers Made Effective specializes in providing you and your providers with a turnkey solution for your dictation needs. We have been offering Dragon Medical software, microphones, digital recorders, along with customization, training, and support for over 17 years. Our training team will work closely with your EHR project managers and trainers to complement EHR deployment. Our in-house support team will ensure your success through the completion of the go-live and beyond. Next slide, please. Today we will be discussing the recent update bringing Dragon Medical Practitioner 2 to 2.3. We will then cover the latest Dragon Medical 1 service release that I know you have all been anxiously waiting for. I would now like to introduce our Director of Training and Support, Mr. Joshua Collins.
Yes, all right. Thank you, Matt. Again, this is Joshua, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take you through some of the finer points of these updates, and we'll talk about actually updating them as well. How to go through and update, making sure you're on the latest version. So we're going to start here with Dragon Medical Practice Edition. So right now, you guys should be on patch 2.3. If you're not, you definitely want to get updated, and we'll go over that process here in just a few moments. But the latest patch 2.3 is bringing some major changes that are definitely needed. The biggest one being, full compatibility with Microsoft Windows 10. So while, it may have worked previously with Windows 10, you probably noticed some bugs. I definitely, knew of a few bugs that were giving me some issues personally with some clients. So definitely those have been resolved now with this patch 2.3 that is fully supporting Microsoft Windows 10. So that's a big update here. Another few big updates are the support for Office 2016 and Internet Explorer 11. So mainly Office there, because I know, Word is used heavily with Dragon, Word, Outlook, and while again those apps maybe had worked previously to this patch, you may have noticed, they were not working as they should. You couldn't use all of your select and say commands. You couldn't say things like, print file or save document, and do some navigation by voice. Those commands were, were not working. Definitely some other bugs and quirks here as well with Office 2016, but that definitely has now been fully patched. It definitely works and fully supports Office 2016 now, as well as Internet Explorer 11. So if you were using commands to surf around the web by voice and things like that, you'll notice those are now working again as well. So some big improvements there. Also, it does support the Nuance PowerMic 3. So if you haven't heard, there is a new PowerMic. It's called the PowerMic 3. Maybe I can actually show you a picture of it here, but through Dragon. But the PowerMic 3, definitely, if you have any questions on it, you can definitely reach out to us. It's definitely been redesigned. It's easier to use, and hold in your hand as far as that goes. The mouse has been redesigned. I know the mouse was not very efficient on the PowerMic 2. This one is more of a touch screen type of mouse, so it really is, it works much better. You can actually move around and left click and right click really with ease with the new PowerMic. It also has some different cable lengths as well. You can have a 6-foot cable or a 3-foot option. So I know we had some doctors that, were carrying around the 6-foot cable with our laptop or tablet that was, kind of an issue. So that definitely helps out having that shorter cable length. But again, the PowerMic 3, it did work prior to this patch. However, it still showed as the PowerMic 2. You didn't have the full capability. There's some other options and buttons you can program in there now as well. So once you update, if you go to Tools and Options, you'll see the updated, the PowerMic 3 there, and you'll be able to program and customize it as well. So that's a nice new feature. And again, if you need any information on the PowerMic 3, definitely let us know, and we'll get that to you. And then again, with any version of Dragon, they're always upgrading or improving, bugs and things like that. So definitely some fixes as far as Dragon freezing up, maybe when you're trying to correct words. I've noticed that has definitely been improved there. some jumping cursors that maybe had some issues before. They've reduced some of that as well. So definitely some bug fixes, along with these new edit controls. So anytime you see these new edit controls, that just means they're expanding Dragon to work with different applications. In most cases, EMRs, right? So it's always good to see that. And then if you do use Dragon Medical Practice Edition with Citrix, you can see here what versions they support up to. Now, these are not the latest versions of Citrix, so if you are using Dragon in a Citrix environment and that's your goal there, you're probably going to want to take a look at Dragon Medical One, because that really is designed for Citrix, a remote desktop, virtualization. That's really what Dragon Medical One is designed for and supports, definitely. So we'll talk about that, but if you are using Dragon Medical Practice Edition with Citrix, you can see they did add some increased support there for these 7.6 and 7.7 versions. All right, so let me show you here how we can download this patch. If you want to make sure you have it, it's really as easy as opening Dragon. That's going to be your first step. So let me go ahead and open Dragon here. Okay, I should already have it open down here. And you can really check from within Dragon. All right, let me turn my mic off there. For some reason it keeps coming on. But let me go ahead and show you the Dragon bar. Let's see. I'm trying to pull it up here now. Okay, here we go. So if we go up here on the Dragon bar, when you go to Help, so you can open Dragon, find your Dragon bar wherever it may be. It may even be down in your system tray like it was for me. If it is, you can right-click on it. However, you want to go to Help. And an easy way just to check, you can go here to About Dragon. This is going to tell you right here a couple of good things. It's going to tell you your version number and also your serial number. So if you do need that for some reason, you can find it there as well, maybe if you lost it. But you want to be on 12.53. So you could be on 12.50 or 5.1. Here I'm on 5.2. You can definitely get upgraded to 5.3 by just repeating the process that we're about to go through. So really it's as easy as going to Help here and then check for updates, right? You do want to make sure you're online. If you do not see this check for updates option, it probably means you need to log in as an administrator. You don't have the administrative rights, so you may have to contact IT, but it should be there for you. Otherwise, you click check for updates, and then it will go ahead and launch this third-party software manager that Dragon or Nuance uses to upgrade their software. So this is it, the software manager. Now once you have this open, you can't actually close out of Dragon, right? And you do want to do that. You want to make sure to close out of Dragon before you start downloading or applying this patch. Otherwise, you can run into some issues there. So you want to just go to Profile, Exit Dragon once you have this software manager open. And then you should see it here. Now again, you may have 2.2 or a previous version. And if so, you can just keep repeating this process until you get to 2.3. Just keep on upgrading it here, because you may have to go through a couple patches, right, to get to the latest version. So look out for that. But once you're here, it's really as easy as checking this box next to this update. You can ignore these messages. These are almost really more ads. So you check that box there, and then you have the option to either install it, which will go ahead and just start installing it right away, which is again why you want to make sure Dragon's closed. Or you could click download and download it and then install it when you're ready. All right, so it's really as simple as that. The installation process, you're just going to click next and next until it's finished, really, just as if you were when you were installing Dragon. Very straightforward installation process. So that's really it as far as the upgrades go. You want to make sure, because it doesn't always prompt you, so you want to go to the Help menu, check for updates, and just use this software manager to go ahead. And personally, I would just go ahead and click Install, and that way it'll just install it and run through it there. And then you may have to restart the computer when you're finished. It's always a good idea when you're installing anything in Windows. But other than that, that really should be as easy as it is to upgrade to make sure you're on this latest version with Dragon Medical Practice Edition. All right, so if you have any questions, run into any issues there, definitely reach out to us. You'll have our contact information at the end here, and a lot of you may already have it as well too. So definitely reach out to us. So let's talk about the next product here, Dragon Medical One. So if you haven't heard of Dragon Medical One, it's something that we've been working with in our space for about 4 or 5 months now. you know, it was originally designed maybe at the enterprise or hospital level with a few specific EMRs in mind, but now they're bringing it to the ambulatory level, and it works well. I mean, it's cloud-based version of Dragon, right? I mean, if you want to, you know, talk about the speech engine, you know, you can say really, you know, Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2, you know, it's about 5 years old now, so this is, you know, definitely much improved over the speech engine, and you know, so far it's been really working great, and you know, it's something that they move on quickly, right? You know, because it's cloud-based, and you know, just by the nature of that, they can push down and release upgrades, you know, very quickly. And they've actually released 2 major upgrades, you know, since we've been working with it, that you know have really improved some features and fixed some bugs. You know, so they're definitely interested in, you know, improving this and taking our, you know, input as well. So, which is nice that we have Nuance working with us, you know, at that level on this. So just to go over some of the updates with this, with Dragon Medical One, the biggest update for the end user is now the ability to train words to your voice, which I know with Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 has kind of always been there, but with Dragon Medical One, you used to only be able to use what they call the default pronunciation, where, you know, it would be, you know, what Nuance or Dragon thinks that word sounds like, you know. So now you have the ability to go in there and train it to your voice, which I'll demonstrate to you here in a moment. But you know, that's something that, again, we pushed for, and here it is, you know, in another update. Because yeah, you definitely got to be able to train words to your voice, because you know you're going to have those names or, you know, those odd medications that it's just not picking up until you go in there and train it to your voice. So now we can do that, which is great. And then also, you know, with this Dragon Medical One, like I said, it was designed for a few major EMRs, right? So it definitely, you know, it works really well with pretty much any EMR, but they still are adding support for that. So as you can see, they've added support for some McKesson and Meditech applications, and then they've also added some more text controls here. So that means, you know, they're just working on improving it to be kind of all around, as is Dragon Medical Practice Edition, where you really could use it anywhere. You know, so we'll talk more about that. But some other updates here, as you see, it does require Internet Explorer 11. So if you do have Dragon Medical One and you're installing it, you have to use Internet Explorer 11 to install it. After that, you don't need to use, you know, Internet Explorer anymore. It's going to be standalone, right? Just when you're installing it there. It also supports the PowerMic 3 as well. So all the benefits we talked about before, you know, you can also apply them here to Dragon Medical One. And then, you know, this one, as you see, supports the latest Citrix, which is 7.9, right? So if you are invested in making, you know, Dragon and Citrix, you know, work together in your environment, this would definitely be the option for you. This, you know, this is what Nuance is officially supporting in Citrix. You know, as things change with Citrix, they're going to make sure Dragon Medical One, you know, follows along and is updated as well. So definitely the option there for Citrix remote desktop. Any kind of virtualization, let us know. You know, we can make that, you know, work for you as well. I'll get you some details on that. All right. So let's go ahead, and I want to show you Dragon Medical One, and we'll talk about this new feature. So if you haven't seen Dragon Medical One, here it is. It's just definitely different, right? It's this little blue bar here now. It's very, you know, simplified, you can say. They've kind of taken out some of the extra fluff, right, that you know, maybe you didn't need or didn't use. But here on the Dragon bar, there's really only a couple options to turn the mic on, and then you have your one single menu, which is nice. So very straightforward. But what I want to show you here is, you know, you can do the same things, right? You can still go in there and add and train words. You can still go in there and set up macros. So I want to go ahead and show you here the option to train a word. So let me go ahead, and right now I've got a clean vocabulary here. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add. And I'm going to type in a doctor's name that I've had trouble with when I was working with him on site. His name is Dr. Starodub. And here's your ability to either use your default pronunciation, which again was the only option before, right? But now you have this little red microphone. So when we click this mic, it's going to give us the option to go ahead and dictate that doctor's name, you know, right in there. So let me go ahead and try it out here. Dr. Starodub. All right, so then it just says click confirm to save the word, so we'll click confirm, and then it really is as easy as that. It says the vocabulary has been successfully trained, right? So now if we go back here to manage vocabulary. We will see our Dr. Starro dub there, and we will see that little wave icon next to it, audio file, just to show us that it's one that we've trained to our voice, right? And if you already have, maybe you've added words before this feature was available, well, you could go and click on any of your words, and you can go ahead and click train to train it to your voice, at any time, right? So that is something that definitely has been added just with this last patch, and has made a difference there with training some of those words and phrases, right? So that's it. Again, it's just under manage vocabulary, and you can get in there and add or train any words. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about maybe the differences between the two products, just in case you don't know or you're wondering. So as far as accuracy goes, we'll start there. Accuracy, speech recognition. Definitely, like I was saying, Dragon Medical One, you can kind of think of it as, 5 years advanced, superior to Practice Edition. And it definitely shows with, not just the medical terminology, but the common terminology, right? Describing stuff, that your patient was doing that caused that injury. That's the stuff that maybe Dragon Medical Practice Edition would stumble on before. It would get all the medical terms correct, right? But other common lingo it would struggle on. Well, Dragon Medical One, definitely you can see a difference there immediately. I mean, all around, no matter what you're throwing at it, honestly, it really does a great job, even out of the box, even before it really gets a chance to learn your voice, it just kind of works. So definitely better there. Now, you notice here, though, Practice Edition supports 90 specialties, while Dragon Medical One supports 13. So even though that's the case, you still, honestly, like I said, really will have superior accuracy with Dragon Medical One. Even if your specialty is not supported, they do have general medicine or general medical, which is, again, kind of an all-around. And, a lot of these 90 specialties are most likely based on some of these core 13 specialties as well, So you kind of, keep that in mind as well. But just so you know, there is 90 specialties with Practice Edition, and then 13 right now with Dragon Medical One. But again, something that they're definitely will be adding on to. All right. And as far as working with your EMR, we could say that Dragon Medical Practice Edition works with virtually any EMR. I mean, really, we could say that one way or another, right? We will make it work in your environment. Honestly, I mean, that's just from experience, right? Dragon Medical One is a little different now because, like I said, they're still kind of ramping it up. It may or may not. You may have some issues, in your EMR. So what we're doing for the time being is we're offering a trial, right? Which they are in high demand, so definitely let us know. We will get one to you as soon as we can, which will probably consist of about a week's trial. And that way we can, have a good proof of concept, right? We get in there, we try it with your EMR, we'll let you try it out to make sure that it's working. If not, definitely we'll take it to Nuance and we will, try our best to improve that functionality. But, just so you know, that's the state of it right now. But definitely let us know. We can get you a trial. And like I said, we really haven't had many issues at all, honestly. So it really does work with most DMRs that we've, thrown at it as well, no matter if they're in Citrix, web-based, remote desktop. But just know they're still improving that. And then, as far as the pricing goes, right, Dragon Medical Practice Edition, it's a one-time fee for the license, the training, the support. But after that, you own it, right? You're not obligated to upgrade. You're not obligated to any more fees. With Dragon Medical One, it is subscription-based, right? So you're going to be paying, monthly, and I believe it's a contract as well. We can definitely give you the details on that, but you'd be locked into a contract, for a term as well for that. All right. And then, as far as installing Dragon Medical Practice Edition, in most cases we want it to install locally, as a fat client or a thick client on the actual desktop. With Dragon Medical One, you have that flexibility. You can really install it locally if you want on the Citrix server as a published, app, on a remote desktop, terminal server setup. It really has that flexibility. And when you are installing it, they have what they call a one-click install, right? So it literally is one click. It's only about 40 megabytes. It's a real tiny file. Takes a few minutes, and once that's done, you're good. Really, you can log in and start using it, right? So you really can be mobile with it. And it really is designed to be installed, on the server or Citrix because it is such a lightweight application with a very small, footprint. All right, so, you do have to be online, right? So you do have to be online, connected to the internet, although it uses a small amount of bandwidth. I think it's around 40 kilobits, so very, very tiny there. Dragon Medical Practice Edition, of course, you don't have to be online, right? It is completely offline, so that is, just something to be known there as well. And it is going to require more PC resources. When we talk about the small footprint that Dragon Medical 1 has, well, Dragon Medical Practice Edition, not so much. You're going to need the processing power and the memory really to support it, which in most cases with computers nowadays really not too much of an issue, but just keep that in mind. And then as far as installing it, you can only install Dragon Medical Practice Edition 4 times per user, right? With Dragon Medical 1, that user can install it on as many machines as they need to, right? As long as it's Windows 7 or up, it really doesn't have to be a fast machine, because it is such a lightweight application. It doesn't really require much processing power. So really, any Windows 7 machine and up, it will install on. And, you can install it anywhere, right? Home, multiple offices, hospital, anywhere you need to dictate, you really can install it. So it really is truly a mobile cloud-based solution. All right, so if you do have any more questions about the differences or anything we covered today, we can definitely take some time here to answer any questions. If we can't answer them now, I will definitely get back to you as soon as I can. But you can use the go to assist bar there on the right, or go to webinar in this case, and you should have the option to chat or even ask a question. Either one of those options is fine. Let me see here. Just give a couple seconds for some questions to roll in. Okay, here's one. Now this is concerning Dragon Medical 10. So it says I have Dragon Medical 10, 10.1. Is Windows 10 supported? So it's actually not. With Dragon Medical 10, it was designed for Windows XP, right? So even, Microsoft isn't supporting Windows XP right now. And Nuance is not supporting Dragon Medical 10 either in that, environment. So in this case, if you have Dragon Medical 10, you kind of have a couple options. You can definitely, if you want to stick with Dragon Medical Practice Edition, you could upgrade to Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2. You could go from version 10 to 12, basically. Once Dragon Medical Practice Edition 3 comes out, or version 13, technically, then you would not be eligible for an upgrade, right? So you can only upgrade 2 versions back. Definitely keep that in mind. If you do want to upgrade, now would be the time. That's one option. Another option would maybe be to switch over to Dragon Medical 1. Now would be a good time to take a look at that as well and figure out which solution is going to work best for you. There is an upgrade path for Dragon Medical 10, right? So you would receive, a discount. And there's also another discount, albeit it's not as big, for Dragon Medical 1. They have a loyalty discount, right? So you would save a little bit of money there as well. So definitely let us know, and we can, we can help you out there. As far as Apple goes, so Apple, unfortunately, right now does not support Dragon Medical 1, or really Dragon Medical Practice Edition either, for that matter. So they do have a version of Mac Medical. It's called Mac Medical, version 5 for the Mac. It is a good solution that, natively works on the Mac. Otherwise, I'm not sure if there are plans to bring Dragon Medical 1 to Apple. I would imagine it is in their playbook. I would assume so. Officially do not know, though, unfortunately not. Just so you know, you probably already know this, but a parallel desktop setup would work, right? You could do something like that, a boot camp where, you're running Windows on the Mac. That would still work in Practice Edition or Dragon Medical 1. It would work for either of those solutions. Not the best solution, I know, but it technically does work. And as soon as we have any update on Apple, we'll probably send definitely a newsletter out on that, because that's something that everybody wants to know about. So as soon as we have any word on any Apple support for Dragon Medical 1, definitely we will let everybody know. Another question here, we have multiple users with a roaming user profile. Can we upgrade one license at a time, or do they all have to be upgraded? So this is a good question, because this could actually, I'm glad you asked this, this could lead into some issues here. So If you do have, Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 on a roaming user setup, right, you have multiple installs and doctors are kind of roaming around. Well, when you're talking about upgrading Dragon, to the latest patch, right, when you're talking about that kind of upgrading Dragon, you definitely want to make sure that you upgrade them all at the same time, right? You plan for it because, you don't want to have the situation where a user goes on computer A that's Dragon Medical 2.2, then that same user goes over to 2.3 on another computer, and then they go back and forth. That's going to corrupt their profile, right, if they're going from one version to a slightly different version, even if it's just one patch, difference. It can corrupt their profile. So you definitely want to, contact IT, have your resources in play there in mind for upgrading your network if you are on roaming users and you want to upgrade to this patch 2.3 or any patches really. You want to make sure to kind of apply them all at the same time, probably best after hours for that. And again, any problems there, let us know, definitely. Let me see if there's any more questions here. Let me pop it out here to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, so here's another one. If you have Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2, is Dragon Medical 1 considered an upgrade? So it's not. So if you have Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 and you were looking at Dragon Medical 1, there's no technical upgrade path. They're separate products. Yeah, even if you did have some kind of maybe upgrade assurance contract, it would not apply to Dragon Medical 1. However, there is a loyalty user discount, which is something that we actually push for ourselves with Nuance, and we got it. So it's great for everybody. So we can definitely give you a discount on your subscription price. All right, so that's what we can do for you as a current Dragon Medical customer if you are looking at Dragon Medical 1. So definitely talk to us about that. I think one more question here. What specific specialty vocabularies are included in Dragon Medical 1? So I know we were talking about it only had 13. Let's go ahead and just take a look real quick. I'll let you guys take a look here, and you can see exactly the specialties. I mean, it has all the standard ones I'll tell you, cardiology, OBGYN, orthopedic, surgery. But here I'll let you guys see here. I won't go through them. I'll just keep this window open here. You can see general medicine at the top, all the way down to surgery. So that's actually the entire list right there. Nothing is being hidden or not shown. So you see you got the major ones. And again, we've had some radiologists, notice radiology is not there. We've had them use general medicine, no problem. Again, if it's a close match to another specialty, that works. If not, general medicine. And they even have clinical administration, which is interesting. So if you are working on the back end, office, whether you're entering notes in the EMR for the physician or maybe billing, coding, you definitely can check out clinical administration as well. All right, so those are the specialties there. And let's see if we have any more questions here. I think that may be it here. Let's see. All right, let me close this out. Yeah, it looks like that's all the questions there. If you do have any other questions or anything else, you want to talk about Dragon Medical Practice Edition, Dragon Medical 1, of course, anything at all, we're definitely here for you. And you can reach us here at our contact information below. Go ahead and give us a call, send us an email. If you already, have your account manager's contact information, feel free to contact them directly. We all work very closely here together, so definitely let us know. If you do need anything at all, upgrade-wise, or you want to talk about one of these solutions, all right? So, I do want to thank everyone for, taking their time to join us today on this Friday afternoon. This will be recorded, so if you do would like to see a recording, shoot us an email, and we'll get you that link. Again, my name is Joshua Collins. We had Matthew Saxman on earlier, and we want to thank everyone for attending, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. Take care. Thanks.